Boom! A plane is plummeting to the ground as a desperate mother defenestrates her baby just before the catastrophic explosion. But don't worry, the baby's got a parachute, and on the way down, he encounters a flying Jesus made out of shrimp who carries him to a photogenic puppy with a life jacket in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But just when you think it's over, a spaghetti shark emerges from the depths. The baby flails frantically, the music crescendos, the screen cuts to black. Like and subscribe. Another AI video is born. Good afternoon, everyone. If you've been online this past year, you've probably noticed single cat mothers scrubbing the dishes while dancing, robotic narrations of fake history recaps, and even footage of the Hollywood sign burning down during the LA fires. Welcome to the age of AI slop. What is AI slop? And yes, that's the official term. It's mass-produced, low-effort, AI-generated videos and images created with zero human thought. It floods social media, hijacks the algorithm, and reduces us to scrolling meat slaves. If you're a parent, you probably begged your kids to look up at glowing AI screens at the dinner table. If you're a teacher, you probably noticed blank stares and shortened attention spans in the classroom. Social media is so deeply woven into our everyday lives that slop is unavoidable. Even if you think you haven't seen it, trust me, you have. In fact, 1 in 10 of the fastest growing channels globally are now purely AI generated, with many videos hitting up to 300 million views in 1 month. And here's the scary part. Europol estimates that by 2026, 90% of online content will be made by AI. 90% fake, synthetic slop. I mean, not even the Kardashians are that filtered. So today, as a verified organic intelligence, I'll explain the spread of the slopspiracy, the 3 major types of rot that it uploads, and finally generate, not with the GPU, but with my own neurons and vocal cords, some solutions to how to stop the slop. So the other day I got a text from my grandma, and upon opening it, my eyes were met with a talking dog saying, "I miss you, grandson," which is concerning because my grandma doesn't even own a dog. The point is, anybody can now fire up a video generation app like Sora by OpenAI, spam a half-written prompt, and boom, instant slop. This stuff is psychological engineering. Our brains are wired to stop and stare at what feels off. A plane crash grabs the amygdala, the brain's danger detector. Then it hijacks our sympathy with baby features. Big eyes, round faces, even diaper cats. And so we press pause, we replay, we share, and without realizing it, we're telling the algorithm, promote more slop to more people. Facebook even requires 36% of what you see to come from accounts you don't follow. That's how the slop sneaks in. But why unleash cat family drama on the internet at all? Money. Meta, YouTube, and TikTok will literally pay you for virality, with many AI channels earning up to $9,000 a month. So, of course, I'm best buds with Shrimp Jesus over here. Why put effort into high-quality content when I could create a 24/7 AI colossal content farm spewing 100,000 cheap, soulless videos every single month? And so it begins. The slew of slop in society has spawned 3 major types of rot. First, creative rot. See, AI doesn't create, it merely recycles what already exists, and what already exists was made by real human artists. Sculptors, painters, writers, photographers, people who spent decades perfecting their craft are watching the work get stolen and spewed back out by machines. To survive, many resort to changing their own styles to match that of AI to appease recommendation algorithms, until everything starts looking the same. And the global soup of sameness is where local quirks and culture go extinct. Canadian journalist Cory Doctorow coined the term enshittification, the gradual decay of online platforms driven by profit. Enshittification. And yes, that's a real word in the dictionary. The internet is progressively getting filled with AI content. And because AI trains off that very same content, we've now entered an age of AI incest. Slop in, slop out. Creativity, gone. Culture, homogenized. The internet and humanity, enshittified. But what comes from swimming in this enshittified slop? Brain rot, the second major type of rot. Now, if you're a teacher, you probably heard teenagers squealing brain rot a million times per day. But brain rot is quite literally brain rot. In fact, it was Oxford's 2024 Word of the Year, defined as the deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state from over-consuming trivial or unchallenging content. A diet of fast food clogs the body, a diet of AI slop clogs the mind. Instead of feeding you with new ideas, slop presents you the same shallow patterns again and again and again. Harvard and Oxford found that our gray matter literally shrinks from overdosing on AI content, especially in the regions that control your memory, emotional regulation, and critical decision making. AI slop is so prominent on YouTube Kids and YouTube Shorts, it seems destined to zombify our next generation. And humans are social learners. When we see real faces or hear real voices, we activate our mirror neurons, tiny empathy engines that help us register emotion. But for the kinds of slop with robotic narrations and artificial faces, our mirror neurons don't fire. And over time, our emotional circuits become less sensitive, it's harder to recognize authenticity, empathy requires effort, and eventually, just like the Air Canada Wi-Fi on the way here, our connection to others completely crashes. The third plague of AI slop is truth rot. We've gone from our parents ordering us not to believe everything on the internet to us begging them not to believe the giant owl hugging a human on Facebook is real. And yet they still don't believe us. Unlike the owl, our truth didn't fly. Half of adults get their news from social media, but the New York Times found that 44% of people fail to distinguish AI from human content. And it's not just shrimp Jesus fooling around here. Artificial misinformation endangers real human lives. During Hurricane Helene, content farms took advantage of the crisis like a trend to seize attention. Thousands of videos of supposed victims surfaced online, including a little girl clutching her dog while a flood demolished her home. This was used widely to criticize the government's response. But of course, first responders were slow because they were relying on social media to locate victims, but couldn't separate the substance from the slop. People were dying while AI was feasting off their suffering. But it also feeds off of our political divides. Introducing Slopaganda. Over 1,200 AI news channels now masquerade as real outlets like CBS and ESPN, funded by real ads and real money. Bad actors can now make millions believe what they never would. Videos of real Filipino students praising war criminal Duterte, real Ukrainian soldiers surrendering, real footage of Joe Biden telling people not to vote. And even if you can tell it's fake, seeing it again and again subconsciously changes our perception and consequently our reality. But here's the dangerous part. See enough fake things and your brain stops trusting the truth. Anybody can now dismiss actual, genuine, non-falsified reality as just AI slop. Newsom's photo of soldiers sitting on the hard floor, AI generated. Trump's old man moments on stage, AI generated, he proclaims. The Capitol riot footage, just AI generated, says defense lawyers. So to summarize truth rot, AI is now real, people are now fake, and let's celebrate the destruction of our shared objective reality. So we've cried at the creative rot, we've diagnosed the brain rot, and we've witnessed the truth rot. And I'm so frustrated. As we peruse the AI internet, we're becoming quite literally the opposite of artificial intelligence. Real stupid. So I've come up with a 4-step solution to stop the slop and save our sanity. First, if AI is going to continue to flood the internet, every generative app must watermark their content. Not just a visual name tag, but also invisible patterns embedded in the pixels and sound waves only detectable by a machine. ChatGPT has already experimented with watermarking its text through adding mathematical patterns to its output, proof that it's possible. This way, platforms can easily identify what's synthetic and what's human. Step 2. Platforms must label AI content or face penalties. Spain already fines companies $38 million for unlabeled AI under the EU's AI Act, and the rest of the world should follow. Moreover, algorithms should be mandated to prioritize human creators over enshittifying Shrimp Jesus AI spam. And if companies refuse to cooperate, then switch to more ethical platforms like Blue Sky and Mastodon, whose algorithms already prioritize quality over what's popular or addictive. Step 3, introducing the digital library of humanity. Think of it as a modern library of Alexandria to preserve verified digital human content, both historical and new. A place where especially the younger generation can go search and study for human work, quite like a JSTOR for humanity, without oozing through the sloppy mire. Creators would register their channels and pledge not to upload AI content. Caught violating the rules, and you're banned. Let's preserve our collective memory of humanity. And now, step 4. The real reason why I decided to write this speech. You know, maybe AI slop isn't the problem. Maybe it's just a symptom. Maybe we are the problem. We voluntarily click on an endless cycle of AI cats, feed the toxic algorithm, watch digital lies, and then act on those beliefs without a second thought? I mean, if you believe in the free market, then the accountability doesn't come from the algorithm. It comes from us. If it's got a cat, if it's got a plane, if it's got a Karen, if it's got a traffic light, if it's got a hot person doing dumb things, it's 99% AI slop. Don't click. Don't share. Don't feed the machine that's been feeding you. Think about our children. Think about our grandchildren. Think about all of humanity to come. And I get that life is hard and we sometimes just all want to break, but does that mean wasting away at the whims of AI? Go pick up a book. Go take a walk. Go call a friend. But we desire the slop. We crave the slop. We covet the slop. But the slop isn't the problem. We are. And if we don't face that, then what are we even doing? So let's not let AI slop continue to rot our creativity, rot our brains, and rot our truth. Instead, let's watermark it, let's regulate it, let's archive what's human, and most importantly, let's stop being the slave and start being the master. Because the next time you see Shrimp Jesus heroically rescuing a baby, just remember the only thing that needs rescuing is us. And if you enjoyed this real piece of human content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.